Hi, I'm Nick Palmisano with Are You Listening? This week we're going to talk about something a little bit more serious, race relations. If you think I'm going to jump into a diatribe about Ferguson or what's happening in New York right now, you're absolutely wrong. What I want to talk about is something a little more concrete that we can affect ourselves. I essentially, throughout my entire childhood, from the time I was born until the time I was 10 in Italy, lived in an idyllic world where race was not an issue. I basically was around nothing but either Italians or the children of folks that served in the military. As such, it was incredibly racially diverse. And I grew up in a really fun environment where nobody ever talked about that kind of stuff. I played with kids that were black, played with kids that were Asian. No one ever thought that anybody was any different. It just didn't matter. And then I moved back to the United States. And I moved into a fairly affluent, white, suburban area in Massachusetts, a place that is widely regarded as, at the forefront of race relations. And one of the first days in public school there, one of the most horrific things that I've ever seen still sits in my head. And there were two kids fighting and a bunch of kids on the side chanting, a fight, a nigger and a white. As a little kid, that shocked me. I actually remember my heart racing because this was against anything that I'd ever heard. What made it even more mind-blowing is that these weren't the punk kids in school chanting this stuff. These were the honor roll kids. These were the smart kids. And the kids fighting, one was white, the other kid was Hispanic, because we didn't even have black kids at our school. Fast forward a few years. I'm in the military. There are all races and creeds there. Everyone came in with their own stereotypes. Some people probably were racist coming in. But a magical thing happens when you serve with people and you suffer together. All of that bullshit starts to go away and you start realizing that people might have different backgrounds, they might come from different places, but we all have the same goals and aspirations. And the only thing you start judging people on is their merits, what they can do on the job and the quality of their character. The 10 years that I spent in the military, both at West Point and then in the Army proper, was the least racist environment that I've ever been in. People don't hang out with each other in the military because they're black, because they're Hispanic, because they come from different backgrounds. They hang out with each other because they like each other. They respect each other because of what they do on the job. It's an amazing place, and it doesn't get enough credit for what it does. When I left the military, I went to Duke Graduate School. Again, a place where you wouldn't expect to see racism or even stereotypes. And while I saw nothing there that was overt the way it was when I grew up, what I did see is that black people tended to hang out together. White people tended to hang out together. Asians tended to hang out together. People break off into cliques. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. What I am saying is this. When we look at the situations that we're having right now, whether it's the media or politicians, people that are essentially incentivized to cause problems, to generate rifts, to make everything a black or a white issue, a Hispanic or a black issue, labeling everyone. It's important to remember that we as a military community know all of that is bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. We know it. So we cannot engage in this nonsense. We cannot be on Facebook making broad generalizations about black people. We cannot be on Facebook making broad generalizations about white people. We know the only thing that matters is the individual person and the quality of their character. If we engage in that nonsense, we are part of the problem. If you're sitting around bitching about black people, you're part of the problem. If you're sitting around bitching about white people, you're part of the problem. The only thing that you can do is treat people with respect, treat people the way that everyone deserves to be treated, and be the American that you want everyone else to be. Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate it. The first time that I was in a real-life mount situation was in Kosovo in 2000. We got information that there was a weapons depot working out of a meatpacking plant. And we got this call that we had to go and hit this building in the middle of the night, 2 a.m. And it's probably the scariest situation imaginable because it was enormous, and there were so many places that people could hide. And so there we were at the door of this plant, 4 guys in the first team about to go through the door, and for a split second, I just took a snapshot of the 4 guys that were about to breach. The 1 man was Laveau, who was black. The 2 man was Alvarez, who was Puerto Rican. I was the 3 man, and the 4 man was Sergeant Stepp, who was half Filipino and half Polish. And I stopped for a second, just thought, man, this is America.